Have you pledged to a crowdfunding project thinking that it was a pre-order and then wondered, well, why didn't I have any legal recourse when the game never came out? Well, how can I get my money back? How is this right? How is this legal? How is this fair? Shouldn't I be able to get my money back? Well, today we're going to be diving into the difference between pledges versus pre-orders, the legalities between the two, and the reason why every single development project out there that is an in development crowd-funded project from an indie team uses the words pledge as opposed to pre-orders, because pledge allows them a broad scope to never deliver a product and never actually deliver anything to you, while pre-order has that legal terminology, has very specific deadlines and obligations associated with it, so that when you make a pre-order, the company is obligated to deliver something by a certain timeline, otherwise they face legal action. If you didn't know that, this is going to be a great video for you. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfell, sometimes known as the Bearded Dwarven Princess, and in today's MMORPG analysis video, we are going to be looking at the difference between pledging to a title and pre-ordering a game, and why you should be wary of ever giving your money to anybody because you're not guaranteed a product when you're pledging to a pre-order. Now, for the sake of today's argument, we're going to be looking at the terms of service for an in-development MMORPG called Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. And before anybody out there says that I'm picking on Pantheon, it's just one of the ones that you can pull up that's easily referenceable on the internet. It's the exact same terms of service that Shroud of the Avatar used. You could see it through many other crowd-funded projects out there, Crowfall, so on and so forth. This is very standard legal text. It's just something that the people in my circle often talk about, so it was very easy for me to find a reference to that. But I'm not picking on them. I'm not painting them in a bad light. They are, as far as I can tell, they appear to be a good company developing a good product. I just am analyzing the terms of service for the purpose of this video. On the other side, we're going to be looking at PayPal's website and analyzing their terms of service for pre-orders so that people can understand the difference between the two and so that they understand the legalities of how this works and how crowdfunding gets away with not being able to ever have to be responsible for anything and never having to be obligated to deliver anything to you, the customer. So, without further ado, let's dive in here and look at this section here. We're going to look at the highlighted section called Pledges and Subscriptions on the Pantheon Terms of Service on their website. So, this is very important stuff. And again, I'm not picking on Pantheon. This is very standard terms of service for in development, crowd-funded MMORPGs. By pledging or subscribing to this site, you agree to be bound by these terms of service. That's very standard. It means that the fact that you're willing to give them money means that you're being willing to be bound by their terms of service. Right off the bat, they let you know that they offer no guarantee or warranty of performance, service, of the game completion, or delivery of any of the pledge package items. They will make a best faith effort to complete, release, and support the game, but game development is a high risk endeavor. For any number of reasons, they may not be able to complete the game, offer access to the game, or they may not be able to deliver some or all items listed in the pledge packages. So right away they're letting you know, much like they would have to let an investor know, that this is a high risk venture. You're giving them money knowing that they might not be able to deliver some or all of the products at some point down the road. They also let you know that items included in pledge packages may be substitute, changed, or eliminated anytime for any reason or no reason at all at the sole discretion of the company. Access to parts of the website, the game, or pledge package items may be revoked or suspended at any point in time for any reason or no reason at all at the sole discretion of the company. They reserve the right to suspend, change, or seize the service, included but not limited to the availability of any support, item, function, feature, database, or content at any time for any reason or no reason at all. The company may also restrict access to parts or all of the website or game without notice or liability. So they've already established that for no reason at all or any reason that they dictate, which they do not have to disclose to you, they can change, eliminate, remove, so on and so forth. And this last part here, without any notice or liability. That means by agreeing to these terms of service, you waive your rights to ever complain about them doing anything or to take legal action against them, because you have agreed that you've given them the right to do all of these things without liability. That means they are They can do anything they want, and you can't do anything about it. They also do not offer refunds under any circumstance, including but not limited to cases when it is unable to deliver all or part of a game or a pledge package, and the terms are subject to change at any time without notice. So they can change these terms of service. They are not legally obligated to let you know when they make those changes. And if they decide to cancel the game, too bad. They don't offer refunds under any circumstances at all whatsoever. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, let's go back to this and let's just get into this mode here. And again, I'm not picking on them. I'm showcasing a very standard, typical pledge terms of service. When you pledge to a game, a lot of people have this mistaken belief that you're pre-ordering. You are not pre-ordering. You are pledging towards the hopeful completion of something that may or may not ever come to fruition. There's no dates attached to this. There is no obligation that they have to deliver the game. They use the terminology good faith effort. They're going to make a best faith effort to complete, release, and support the game. But they also let you know that's a high risk endeavor. And by giving them money, you are not, in fact, pre ordering. You are pledging towards the hopeful completion of something one day without a defined deadline on it. That's very important to know because I've seen a lot of people who are like, well, I've pre ordered the game. No, you haven't. You have not pre ordered the game. They are under no obligation to deliver a game to you, nor are any crowdfunded MMORPGs. They are under no obligation to deliver a game to you because you did not pre-order. You pledged. You pledged. You need to read the terms of service before you pledge to these companies. If you're okay with throwing that money away and you want to support the team because you believe in their vision, that's what this is for. That's for you to pledge towards that project because you believe in the vision. But do not be mistaken, you are not pre-ordering a product. There is no product here. Those terms of service clearly state that there is no product. There might never be a product. That product could change dramatically. They could change it from an MMORPG to a single player game. They could change it to a mobile game, and you would not be able to do a damn thing about it because you signed away your rights when you gave them the money. Okay? Without liability is what they on their end have. It's very important to notice. Quick call to action before we dive into the rest of this, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video and you like what I'm talking about and you want to know more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you can continue to get updates like this in the future. You can support my channel and my content creation journey through a super thanks down below. Pick an amount. It's up to you. $2, $5. Buy me a Ferrari. It's all up to you. And you can also join as a member of the Adventurers Guild down there. It's $2.99 a month. And if you want to go above and beyond, I do stream every day from about 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time. And you can show up on a live stream and do super chats and stickers towards those streams. And if you want to know more about the project that I'm working on with my wife and my brother, it's that world behind me. You can go to patreon.com/wandering hermits, where we are building that 5th edition tabletop setting, along with a point and click adventure game and a book series, all being done through our Patreon page. So hopefully you will check that out at the end of this video, because you'd be really cool if you did. And until then, let's keep on with what we're talking about. Now, we've established here that you didn't pre-order anything when you pledged to a crowdfunded game. You gave them money hoping that they will eventually deliver something to you, but you're trusting in the team to do so, and you sign away all of your legal rights when you do so. You literally agree to those terms of service, and you cannot do anything about that. But what about a pre-order? Well, pre-orders have really different terms of services, and depending on where you're pre-ordering from, it's going to vary somewhat. But I pulled up PayPal's because they're very easy. The highlighted section is what we're going to read through. I'm going to take a sip of coffee and then we're going to continue. So a pre-order is a legally it's a product. You're actually the legal terminology here is very important. You are pre-ordering a product. Pretty much every platform out there, whether it's PayPal, Epic Games, the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, buying directly from a company even, so on and so forth, All of these will have a different terms of service related to this, but as a general rule, with a pre-order of a product, you are legally guaranteed delivery of that item by a specific date. Most of the time, when you pre order a product, you're getting a very specific date attached to it. It might be 6 months down the road, it might be a year down the road, it might be 2 months from now, you never know. PayPal in particular has a a policy where you as the seller need to guarantee delivery of the item within 20 days from the date of purchase. And you also have to have somewhere in your terms of service and your legal disclaimers information that lets the customer know that they are buying a pre-sale item. That way they understand that they're not getting delivery of it upon completion of the order, but that they're going to be charged now, and then the delivery date will be sometime within the next 20 days. Those are the legal obligations that PayPal has for you to pre-sell items on their store and sell pre-orders to customers. This is very different because a pre-order is an actual purchase of a product. You are pre-purchasing a product that is delivered on a certain date, and you are guaranteed something by that date, which means if for some reason the company chooses not to deliver or they can't deliver by a certain date, you usually have a variety of options at your disposal. First and foremost, you can get a refund. Um, in every case out there, if a game is not going to be released by a certain date and you have pre-ordered that item, you can request a refund. It really doesn't matter what platform you're using. These companies are obligated to give you your money back because they're unable to fulfill the pre-order by a certain date. So this is why when a game changes its release date and they push it back by 2 months or 3 months, they will often offer you a refund. Now, something that I found very interesting, because I pre-order a lot of games through the PlayStation Store, or I have in the past anyway, before I switched over to the Xbox. When you pre-order a game, and I know this because it happened with like Cyberpunk 2077, for example, when you have pre-ordered a digital version of something, it will automatically cancel the pre-order. The PlayStation Store will automatically cancel that pre-order for you and tell you that you can pre-order it again at a future date. So it's very good about just automatically saying, hey, the date's changing, here's your money back. You can pre-order at a future date in time when the game is closer to being launched. Now, physical copies are a little different, but it's the same situation where you can traditionally, most places, you can get your money back if the date is going to be changed out. And you just tell them, you know what, I'll buy it when it comes out, just give me my money back now. Sometimes these companies will say that, we won't give you a refund, but we will transfer your pre-order forward to the new product date. But again, it's pretty rare for a company not to offer some form of refund, because most of the time they're obligated to allow you to get your money back when they're making a date change, because they're changing the terms of service. And at least in the United States, when they change the terms of service on a pre-order item, the company is obligated to compensate you or refund you, because if they don't, they get into big trouble. So they offer you that option. Now you can choose to ignore it and just write it forward and never get a refund and just wait for the game to come out. That's up to you. But the big thing here is understanding that a pre-order versus a pledge means that there's an actual item associated with that from a legal perspective, so that if something is never delivered, if you don't get a refund, you can then take legal action against the company because they took your money and never delivered the product that they promised they were going to deliver you, because the pre-order is a promise. A pre-order of a product is a legally binding contract, and that means that you have legal recourse at your disposal. So if you can't get a refund, then you could take that to your state attorney general as an example, and you could then initiate legal action against that company because they failed to hold up their end of the bargain. That's a very sort of, I would say high level, because I'm not a lawyer who can sit here and explain all the terms and terminology to you, but I do have a little bit of knowledge on this because I have been working on the development end for a long time and the publishing end, and so I've had to go through all this stuff quite a bit and draft up terms of services and work with lawyers over multiple projects. Um, but it is important to understand that there is a difference, ladies and gentlemen, between pledging for something and pre-ordering. And I see way too many people out there who think that a pledge is a pre-order, and they make these statements about, well, I've pre-ordered the game and I've pre-ordered this tier and I've pre-ordered this package. No, you did not. You pledged And a pledge does not obligate that company to give you anything ever at all. You signed away all your liabilities, you signed away all of your rights to those companies, and you have no legal recourse if that company decides to change things or never deliver. Which is why looking at, for example, the Chronicles of Elyria um, lawsuit, it's unlikely that's ever going to actually come to anything, because despite the fact that people say that there was mismanagement of funds, that's different than wanting your money back because the product was never delivered. Because remember, a lot of people are upset that what was delivered with Chronicles of Elyria was not what they were promised or what they thought they were promised during the Kickstarter and other things beyond that. But you have to go back to, what does a pledge mean? A pledge, much like the terms of service we just read for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and you can see those same terms of service used for Shroud of the Avatar and beyond, the company can change at any point in time the product or the pledge items or anything else at any point in time in any way that they see fit without ever notifying you at all. And you, because you signed away your liabilities, you signed away your rights, they have no liability to let you know of that. So they can do that. So all these people who are up in arms about how they want their money back for Chronicles of Elyria because what the company delivered was not what they pre-ordered, and that's why they're upset, that's going to be a almost impossible case to prove in court, because you were in fact delivered something. It may not be what you wanted to, but they were under no legal obligation to deliver a specific product to the customer. All they told the customers they were going to do was they were going to do a good faith effort to deliver something to them. This is very important to know, because if there's any chance in hell of, say, Chronicles of Elyria, that lawsuit going through, the class action people are going to have to prove in arbitration that there was some gross mismanagement of funds. And that's going to be hard to prove as well, because even if they were technically paying themselves more sellers than they should have been, the fact is they were all working in a good faith effort on a video game, and with actual, a legal entity there paying paychecks to people who were, actually developing a game and so on and so forth. That's a very, very hard thing to prove, to actually prove that there was, gross mismanagement, and gross being the key here, because there has to be proof that they were doing something so ridiculous, so outside of the scope of game development, that it would be considered gross mismanagement of the money. And there may have been mistakes that were made, and there may have been mismanagement, but gross mismanagement is a very different thing from just general mismanagement. Anyway, hopefully this provides some clarity on the difference between pre-orders and pledges, and why you need to understand that your pledge is not a pre-order, and that company is not obligated to deliver you anything. Safe gaming, everybody. Have fun.